Welcome to PamoJah Roots. Welcome to PamoJah Roots. PamoJah Roots. PamoJah Roots. Conscious rhythm. Conscious rhythms. PamoJah Roots. PamoJah Roots. Welcome to PamoJah Roots.
Greetings and salutations, Hong Kong and worldwide massive, and welcome to PamoJah Roots. We are coming to you live at Eton Radio, and this is at Eton Hotel. And big shout out to Eton Hotel for giving us this platform where we educate, entertain, and elevate the people. And it's in between Yaumate and Jordan. The address is 380 Nathan Road. Around us, we have a food hall that serves different kind of foods. And beneath me, like behind me, there's a buffet where they also have good food during the dinner time. On the fourth floor, they have a bar called The Terrible Baby, which has got a terrace, and they have a music room too, where many DJs play on the weekend, on Friday and Saturdays. And so if you're down around Kowloon side, just come down to Eton Hotel, and I'm sure whatever food you would like, you'd find it here. So this is PamoJah Roots podcast, and today I have my guest, Jarius King. It's been a long time coming. Yeah, man. So PamoJah Roots. PamoJah means together in Swahili. And the roots is where we all come from. Like we all are from like a forest. The roots are all from down, and we are like a forest. We are all in the same forest. And even though we are different, you're from another country, I'm from here, but we share interests. We share so much in common. We have so much in common. And we could talk for days and days about music and lifestyle and everything. But I know you have a short time today.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, let me get it in how we can, but yeah.
Yeah, man. So my guest, Jarius King, is a very cool guy, also known as DJ King GNS.
Yeah, King Genius, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And MOG, that's Man of God, and that's your Bboy dance name.
Yeah.
He is one of the hardworking, talented DJs and dancer I've known. Like, ever since I started following him in 2017, all the posts he's been doing is usually relevant of what he's doing in life, and it inspires me a lot, especially like the music, the DJing, and you being a dad. Like, you gave me so much inspiration when I saw you with your son one day, like, was it 2020 or something? Like, you were with him, like, passing on the tradition, and I looked at it, I was like, wow. If I had a son, I would be so proud to show him what I do, and that's
now
why.
Look at you, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and so my son loves to DJ, and I appreciate that.
Word, man.
So I know you've been in numerous dance battles ever since you were a kid. You're gonna tell us, right?
Yeah,
a teenager.
Yep.
You've been a DJ for dance battles, street dance battles. You've been a judge. You've been the dancer itself. You've won many awards. I know also, like, you have been in DJ competitions before. Like we just talked, and you told me you are at Vola for the Boom magazine hip-hop DJ competition, right?
Yeah, that's the
But
mixed styles joint. Yep.
That was way back, 2017, 16, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 2016, because it was right after I moved to Hong Kong.
Yeah, man. So I also remember, like we never met before when I started following you, and then we later met in 2021 when you were part of an art exhibition in Tycoon. Do you remember that?
I'm trying to. Was it the one when I was doing like the poses and talk?
Yes.
Still in Hong Kong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Xavier Leroy and Scarlett Yu. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So that's where I met you for the first time, and I was like, wow, man. I was happy because you introduced me to Frank's at the bar, and then you introduced me to DJ Tiger. Shout out to DJ Tiger, Frank L. Shout out, and Frank's. That's where I also DJed like twice or thrice using turntables, and it was a good experience. It was through you that I was able to do that. So, man,
Word.
thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
You are the founder of Afro Night, which has had many successful parties with Afro vibes in Hong Kong. Soho House, we're talking the Aftermath. And
Just to clarify, so the folks I did work with, and that I was inspired to create Afro Night by watching them as well.
Yeah.
DJ Minu, he's done
shout
a lot
out.
of his work, especially with Blackout Party at Aftermath.
Yes,
So
yes.
those are separate parties. I don't want to take credit, but we all riding the wave separately.
Yes.
You know, trying to create something for our peoples. But we did ours at the Mint Club, which is now like gone.
Yeah.
We did a team up, True Vibes.
Yeah.
With
True.
with True School and Afro
True Vibes.
Afro Vibe.
We did one at Soho House. That
That-
was an all-white party.
That was me news. That was me news.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, okay,
yeah.
that was Afro
The
Night.
first
Okay.
Afro night I did was here in Eden, actually, at Terrible Baby.
I was there.
Yeah,
I came in
yeah,
2020. I
yeah.
remember we came and it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I think that's where also we met. Yeah.
Probably, I forget, because we
yeah.
done ran into each other. So yeah.
Man.
And then we did the second Afro night at what used to be the Omega Lounge, but or the Lambda Lounge. Sorry, Lambda Lounge, but you know, closed down.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, man, welcome to PamoJah Roots
Thank you for having
podcast.
me.
This is episode number 9, and I'm really, really happy to have you here. So, let's get into it.
Yes.
I know you have been up and down for the past like 1 or 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want us to slow down and see like who is Jarius King? Who's this guy? And we just like to get a glimpse of where you come from, like where you were born, where were you raised, and since you're musically oriented, what kind of music did you listen to as a kid in your house? How was that?
Yeah, well, I am born and raised from Chicago,
Yeah, man.
the actual city. Like, I'm not no suburbanite or somebody else like trying to false flag and claim. Like, I'm an actual born and raised Chicagoan.
Cool, man.
Growing up, music that I listened to, dang near everything, man. Like, actually, so on my Instagram, on my DJ page,
Yeah.
I do an album of the week. I share my stories, and eventually I'll put it like a post or whatever. But I'll go 1 week. I think I was doing like, you know, I love hip hop music, of course, but I've gone from like hip hop to like Japanese punk rock girl band, and like, you know, now I'm doing like Aaron Neville. So he is a musician back in the States,
Okay.
and his brother, he has like a very like country music sound. So like, you know, I'm doing country. I'm all over the place, but that's how I grew up.
Okay.
You know, my father, he very much was like heavy. Like, I remember my pops listening to funk music all the time. It was funk and soul.
Yeah.
Funk, soul. But my mother was more everywhere with it. So she would, like I said, Aaron Neville. She would play some Rat Pack, Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah,
sounding
wow.
stuff. Anita Baker. I heard Yellow Magic Orchestra for the first time through my mom, and they're like a Japanese electro music group. They were like famous like the late 70s, early 80s, you know, like they were the first and maybe only Asian music act on Soul Train. Like, so my mom was playing a bunch of different stuff. So I grew up hearing that music, and you know, on the weekends you wake up and you hear that music booming in the house, loudspeakers, as my mom would do, like cleanup time, you know. So she would just play her music. So I grew up listening to like a good plethora of music, not stuff that's too left field and crazy, but as a kid, I grew up like that, and then once I started getting into dancing and breaking, I really delved more heavily into funk music, and the structure of the breaks, looking for like breaks. Then I really dabbled into rock, and this is like my high school era, so I was really like messing with rock music. Oh, I grew up to jazz too, jazz and blues. Like my grandma blues music.
Yeah.
I was a jazz fanatic from like the ages of like 9 to 11.
Wow.
It's like I wanted to tap dance like the Nicholas brothers. I've always, and this is a bucket list thing for me, always wanted to play upright bass, like just jazz, everything. So all of this like culminated by the time I started listening to breaking, like got into breaking. You listen to breaks and you'll find a break in a rock record. You'll find it in some random German folk song. You'll find it in like this jazz track, and so that's when high school really started like taking off, and then I started DJing in college. And that's when I really, I started getting my mom's old records. She passed when I was 14.
Oh man, R.I.P.
Yeah, and music from her, my grandmother, like their records, my pop's records, a record from my aunt here and there. I would go record digging, like just everything. So between childhood to college, like all of that music stuff is just like, I listen to everything though. I listen to look up a genre of music called chip tunes.
What?
Chip tunes. It's
Chip tunes.
It's
okay.
It's Japanese music made with 8-bit like Nintendo 8-bit Nintendo sounds, like so like microchip music. Like some of the like I be going like people be like, you play hip hop? Like, yeah, that's what I get hired for. But bro, like y'all would not like some of the stuff I listen to. Like
I do follow you, and I see the album of the week. You put even like Latin music from Cuba, from I think even Venezuela, like albums
everywhere.
From. There's a time you put even like Celia Cruz or something like that. So I know, and thanks to my wife, that I also got to listen to like cumbia and salsa deeply, because in Africa we really don't have that kind of genre being played everywhere. So that's cool. That's cool to know that like you're all rounded, any genre, because I know you also play house music. That's where
man. I'm from the home. From the home. Yeah.
That's true. Man, that's great. So like, what did you wanna be when you're a kid? Like, what did you wanna be to grow up? Like,
I wanted to be an astronaut or veterinarian.
Oh, what?
But then I found out how long you got to go to school for that junk, and I was like, nah, I'm good. Like I got older, I was like, go to school how many years? Like, nah, I'm good. But yeah, I wanted to be a football player, like soccer.
Yeah.
Astronaut and a veterinarian.
Okay, but I guess your time, maybe soccer wasn't that popular in the U.S.
It's never been popular like
yeah.
that. Like,
but right now it is.
It's growing.
It's growing.
But,
yeah,
but it ain't.
I know.
Unfortunately, because it's a global.
Yeah.
But I don't even know. I still don't even know the rules to the game, though. I just wanted to play because it looks so fun, and it's something that spoke to me.
Wow.
So yeah, I grew up doing none of the stuff that I had planned as a kid.
Oh.
I'm doing none of that.
So when did you learn how to like b-boy, breakdance? When was this? Like, when did you discover like, okay, I can do this actually, like dancing? Because I guess dancing came before DJing.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I started dancing or learning how to break in like the fall or winter of 2000. So I actually in the summer of 2000, I actually had a spinal surgery. I had found out I had severe scoliosis, so my spine was like crazy curved, and my rib cage was shifting. I found out too, because I was having pains and stuff.
Okay.
So my pops took me to a doctor, and they do like a little physical. They check like your spine, and the doc went down my back, and he was just like, And I was just like, wait, what you mean? Like, so yeah, it turned out that X-rays. They had to basically cut me open. Put bone graft on my spine to set like a cast, which is like basically bone from a dead person. They screen and make sure ain't got no diseases, nothing. They straightened me up. When they straightened me up, I grew like 5 centimeters automatic. Yeah, so like 2 inches, like 2.5 inches, something like that. Wow. So like automatic, and I have metal rods attached to my spine, so my upper and middle back are fused together. I only have flexibility in my lower back. So
I've seen you dance. I'm like, dog, how do you do this? Like you
Yeah.
go wow, woo, woo, woo.
But I learned how to dance after the surgery.
Oh, okay.
So sitting, I was always pretty active and like a hyper energetic kid, and just having a layup on a sofa like the entire summer. I had just finished my first year in high school, so like my freshman year, my first year, what y'all say, secondary school, I think here.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So sit on the couch, and I'm just like, I can't move, I can't do anything. I couldn't even watch my favorite shows because it hurt my body to laugh. Like it was excruciatingly painful.
Wow.
But over time, a few months in, I really started looking at TV, and I just got bored, and I switched to this in this movie that I would always see. It's called Beat Street.
Yeah, I know it.
And I had seen it. I would see it like once a year. And they would always show it like wintertime specials.
Yeah.
But it came on in the summer out of nowhere, and I just saw that battle scene at the Roxy, and I was just like, I want to do that. Because before that, it was Kung Fu flicks all day.
Oh.
Yeah, I was heavy, crazy Kung Fu fan. Like, my mom put me on to the Nicholas Brothers and Jackie Chan around the same time when I was 11. But I always had like that. I always wanted to do it and mimic and practice the moves, and really like martial arts and the philosophy behind it. But that culture was so foreign to me, and I didn't like understand it per se. But then I saw people breaking, and I was like, that warrior spirit, that get at 'em type, whatever. I was like, this is more relatable, and they look like me, like So that's what really attracted me to that. Then a homie of mine who's actually a music producer now, his name is Silent Sounds. Shout out to Marvin LeBranch. He in my high school, I found out he knew how to break a little bit.
Yeah.
And we went to school on a different side of town, but it just so happened we lived exactly 1 block away from each other.
Oh.
Yeah, like I found out random, and I went to his crib. He showed me a few moves, but he was like, I don't really know how to do it, but here go this videotape. And there was this cat named Willpower from Air Force crew from California, and I just learned from there. And from there, it grew. I went on the message forums and started meeting people. I risked my life to like go to a dance practice. That's another story. It was stupid. Thank God it worked out. I had to take a knife with me. So, like,
Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was because it was at somebody's house, and I had never met them, but we had been talking for weeks online. I was like, I don't know this cat. Like, stranger danger. Like, I know better, but I want to meet like some other breakers, because I was the only breaker in my school. Like, nobody else break. So, yeah, not to drag it out too much, but I started learning how to dance around the age 15, 16 after my spinal surgery. So,
Well, okay. And DJing?
DJing, I started in college around 2007. There we go. 2007 is when I started DJing. I went to school at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin. And I learned primarily from DJ Violence Park Sniper. He's my mentor, my homie. I call him my sensei. And also, shout out to MC Audio. I learned from them, like a audio shop where I bought my first setup as well.
Yeah, you were telling me.
Yeah, I would go to scratch practice. So I started in 2007.
Nice.
DJing with my first like setup.
That's around the time when DVDs were coming out of different DJs actually DJing videos.
Yeah, you had the Cuber, the Orbitron, I forget. Yeah, they're just weird, whatever. But I didn't even watch none of that, and I didn't even look.
Okay.
I wasn't into scratching. I was just into mixing and music. So I before that, I mean, I had owned like a turntable. I grew up with a turntable, but I'm pick the needle up and put it down type.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
not like that.
Yeah.
But my journey in actively DJing started in 2007. But the history, the music, I got vinyl records from the fam. Like, it's deeper than that. But yeah, 2007.
So were you like a rebellious teenager at that time, like back home, feeling like?
I'm like a good kid. Like, I was like rebellious in the sense that like I'm like a smart mouth type of thing a little bit, but not so much in my not with my parents. I grew up in a crib where you would get whoopings, you get tagged. So it's just like, okay, I learned you don't talk to people a certain way, or I learned through corporal punishment, unfortunately. So I was rebellious in a sense, but not in a the traditional rebellious way. It was just like, yeah, like everybody likes this thing. I don't want to do it. Why? Because everybody's doing it. Like I was like that type of rebellious, or this rule don't make sense. I don't want to break it, but I'm not gonna adhere to it because it's dumb. There's no logic in it. Like, you know, I was one of those things. Like, it looked dumb. Everybody's doing it. It don't make sense. Why? And I would question stuff. So, I was rebellious.
Questioning.
In that way, you know. I mean, going to a dance practice, lying to, like, you know, my aunt who I was living with at the time, like, oh, I'm just going to a party or something like that. But I was going to like a dance thing and. You know, at a stranger's house and taking a knife with me, like stuff like that. Like rebellious, kind of crazy, taking risks, but nothing
too big, risky.
Nah, not at all. Like,
so did your parents ever find out that you were dancing at that time? Did they know?
Yeah, my mom. I started when I was 15, going about to turn 16. My mom passed when I was 14, so she wasn't around. But my pops, he knew, and my pops actually took me to my first dance practice, and it just so happened it was like a 10-minute walk from like my crib.
Okay.
And it was across the street from his high school that he graduated from.
Oh.
So it worked out, but in order for me to start dancing, he knew. He was like, you just had a surgery and you want to spin on your head and I was just like, yeah, I want to break. I want to like learn this dance.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you got to ask the doctor. And so I went to see the doctor.
Yeah.
And
he said no.
Nah, the doc was cool with it.
Okay, cool.
So I remember the look on, and I was like, can I, you know, after I healed a certain amount, you know, can I start learning to dance? And the doctor looked, he paused for a second and he smiled and he was like, yes, you could. And this was, you know, 2001 where this happened.
Wow.
Because I was still practicing when I wasn't supposed to, but my pops didn't know. I was practicing at the crib when he weren't there, when he was at work. But I had to take it easy because of my physical limitations. But once I got the permission from the doc, it was on. But I found out from my pops like 3-4 years ago. No, like 5 years ago, that when the doc was like, when I was asking the doctor, my father was behind me telling me like, no, say no. And he said when the doctor like smiled, like said yes, the reason he smiled, it wasn't because he saw the joy in my face, because my father flicked him off. Like, he gave him the finger, like, why you tell him yeah?
No.
But yeah, I mean, he was against it, but it was just like, okay, well, it was somewhere where he was familiar with, his high school, and I wasn't out in trouble. I wasn't out like chasing. I wasn't even focused on girls or nothing. It was just dancing, bro. So it was weird for my pops actually. So he was just like, you ain't, you know, he was expecting me to do typical, you know, boy stuff. He was just like, kind of strange, you know. I found out like right before I went to college, my pops thought I was kind of strange, like, so he didn't even understand it. But I wasn't getting in trouble, so he was just like,
So, like, what DJs, what dancers did you look up to that gave you that inspiration to feel like even if your pops was like, oh, you can do this, you're like, they're doing it, I can do it.
I mean, seeing the movie Beat Street, so obvious folks who are in it, and one of the main ones for me that inspired me was a dancer called Lil Lep. He had this basic like cross step, quick head spin. Like, just watching that film, I know it almost like religiously, like it. People who study religious text, like, and they could recite. If you put on a battle at the Roxy in Beat Street right now, I could be like, yep, this step, whoop, wop, bam, like I know when they're gonna hit. So, but I would say my main inspirations from that film were like all the dancers. Shout out to Ken Swift, who, like, I grew up watching this film and seeing him break in this movie, and he's like, the B-boy's B-boy, the breaker's breaker for B-boys and B-girls, B-people, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like my friend now. It's weird. Like, this is like my hero, but he's my friend. He comes to Hong Kong often, actually.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool.
But a lot of different, not just dancers though, because I would, you know, Kung Fu, Jackie Chan, like how I approached my breaking and stuff was very much influenced by Jackie Chan, the Nicholas brothers and tap dancers. And growing up in Chicago and seeing like footwork or people outside of the city, you know, they call it Chicago footwork. Just like seeing I have like a bunch of different inspirations, not only just dancers themselves, but martial artists, comedians, physical like I draw from
everything that is relevant to what you want to learn from everyone what you can.
Yep.
Nice, man. What about DJs? Like, so you said you were there at the record shop where they had turntables, where you bought your first turntable. So, did you have someone tell you that, okay, you need to do this, you need to, or did you like automatically figure it out when you listen to a mixtape? You're like, there's a way these two songs mix, and something must be going on here. And when you listen to them separately, like, this end and this end probably comes together. Something like
Yeah, it's a little bit of all of that. Like, so I actually have a musical background. As a child, I was blessed enough. I went to this school in Chicago. It's like, I think the first and maybe only black private school on the west side of Chicago called Providence St. Mel. And like their requirement is like from starting 5th grade to on up, like 5th grade to middle school. 5th grade and younger, I think you have to learn like, what was it? When I went in 5th grade, you had to pick. We had to learn recorder. So I started with the recorder. You had to learn how to play music, read music. Then when you got to middle school, which for you all I think is like the second level of primary. I forget whatever level of primary. Yeah. Right before. Yeah. The 3 years before secondary school.
Yeah. That's
you,
like middle school.
You had to pick either band or choir. So I picked choir, and I have a twin brother actually. He picked band. So but we both had to learn how to like read sheet music. So I knew like music theory, how to read sheet music. Then in high school, I joined band. So JROTC, so like the Reserve Army Military. I did that program, but I was part of the drum corps all 4 years. I actually been the captain, like in my senior year. So I never played full drum set, but I did marching band. So I played snare, I played cymbal, I played quads, I played bass. Like I played bass guitar for a year. I played trombone for a year. So I have like all this musical knowledge on top of hearing, stuff,
different kind of stuff
in my home. So by the time I got to turntables and then I'm dancing, I'm reacting to music, I can hear what was happening. And then once I started learning like the technique, and I really learned by watching my teacher, because I used to just, in college, like I just did schoolwork stuff and I practiced breaking. I didn't go to parties. I didn't do whatever. So by the time I started going out, I would go with my teacher, my sensei, because we worked for the same student organization, but he was an older student. And so I would just like go to his gigs and watch him and see how he would set up. And I did stage crew in high school as well. So for the school assemblies, I would hook up the sound. Me and my brother and a bunch of other folks at my high school in Lindblom. So all that knowledge is feeding into how I got that, and I would just watch him, and I was like, yo, I can help you set up. I know how to do that. I know how to make boom. And I would just watch him DJ, then I hear it, and we vibe, and I'm like, oh, it'd be crazy if you mix this song in next, or blah, blah, blah. And then it got to a certain point, he was just like, I'm kind of stuck. What you think I should play next? And then I would tell him. Then I would get there early enough to hang out. He'd be like, you want to kind of mess around, hop on? Because I would practice on my own. And then I ended up getting my first set of turntables and and diving in more heavily, vibing with him more to the point he was like, hey, you can open up for me first hour, go ahead. So it was like a steady evolution, but it's informed by all of this stuff behind it. So it wasn't like an automatic thing, but it's I'm able to hear it and through dancing and through my musical background.
Wow, man. So do you remember your first gig? Like you said, you went to open for him. How was it?
It was cool. It was just like, it was like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at, very first open. Ain't nobody like really there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was at a bar called Angelic, in Madison, Wisconsin. And I don't remember that first gig like specifically, but I remember I DJ'd there, and I remember being nervous. I don't remember what I played. I don't remember how it went, but I was solid enough. And by this time, I had been practicing with my own very crappy turntables. This is before I got the Technics. My fault. The Technics was my second pair of turntables.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I started off with a set of turntables. They were so cheap that like the DJ needle, like the stylus and the needle, they cost $60 US each. My turntables cost 50 each. Like
wow.
But I had a good mixer. They told me. Shout out to Mike Carlson from MC Audio. That's his shop.
Okay.
He was like, just buy crappy turntables and get an amazing mixer. because if you start with techniques and the best, if you get a crappy set at a club, you don't know how to rock. But
that's true.
I had plastic belt drive turntables, so I really learned my record control and everything from there. So, but yeah, man, like I have a wealth of musical knowledge and experience that informed me being able to like dive into that and to hear it. So I knew from that and dancing, by the time I like got into it, it was butter. And in Chicago, I'm used to hearing mixes. Like our city is known between house music, the soul, like music, and like the stepper sets. Like I grew up hearing music blended seamlessly, so not like mix drop, boom, bop. Like our tradition in Chicago is very like, I was used to hearing music mixed very well.
Whoa, that's nice, man. So you started DJing, you're also dancing. Did you join like any collectives at that time when you were still in the US? Like
Yeah. I'm part of I was part of a breaking crew called Floor Physics in Chicago.
Flow Physics.
Yeah, Floor Physics.
Oh,
that was the
nice.
first crew I was part of. That Stranger Danger house I went to.
Yeah.
And I went there the first time, and I opened the door, and it was an old dude, and I was just like, yo.
That's it.
And I had my hand in my pocket with my knife, and he was like, oh, whatever you're looking for my son. He's downstairs, so you can go in the basement. Just go around to the back. So I had to go around. It's nighttime, and it's dark in like the little alleyway between the crib, and I'm like, yo. But I open up, and it's just like this Latino, light-skinned Puerto Rican, and I think he's like Guatemalan dude or whatever. So his name was Script, and we just talked, and he also MC'd, and they have a studio down there. His pops produce music and stuff. And so I came back eventually. I would practice with them all the time, and then I became part of the crew. After that, years later, I joined a crew in Hong Kong called Rhythm Attack. So I was studying abroad in China, visited Hong Kong, got stranded here on accident, stuck here for 2 weeks. Homies looked out for me, dance connection. So Rhythm Attack, and then after that, a crew that I actively rep, because Rhythm Attack is like no longer active.
Okay.
Even though I still represent it off and on. Motion Disorders, legendary breaking crew.
Nice.
From Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm a member of that. I'm also a former member of a group that's not active anymore, but it's like a family. Still, it's called Awesome Style Connection in Chicago. So it's like a more mixed styles dance group. Shout out to Ninja Church. That's like a random collective of dancers, breakers, like DJs, MCs, organizers. We're just a collective of folks, not necessarily active, but we just come together. I'm also part of a Fly Styles Buffet group of DJs, along with it's myself, Ella Katrina, Fast Money Mike, and my teacher, Violet Spark Sniper. So
nice.
I rep a bunch of different stuff, but
it's awesome.
So
man.
I'm part
it's
of.
Awesome, man.
But that's like a whole journey. It's like 23 years for me between breaking and between dancing and
DJing together.
Yeah. So really one active dance group, and then one active DJ group.
Nice. So you mentioned China. So you came to China to study.
Yeah, I studied Mandarin. I majored in Mandarin in my university.
Okay.
So that was like I studied Chinese.
Okay. How many years?
I did the program for like 3.
Which year was this?
Oh, this was 2003 to, dang, I'm dating myself. Yeah, this is like 2003 to 2005 is when I first came to Hong Kong. And then I did another year of study. I got kicked out of college for a year because of my grades. I got kicked out after I graduated, which is a whole nother story. I did my graduation ceremony, but then I got kicked out because of grades, went back, finished my last semester. So I finished in 2009, but I didn't fail Chinese. It was the math and science stuff that I was just like, why am I doing this? But yeah, 2003 to like 2006, 7-ish is when I studied Chinese.
Nice. So you speak fluent Mandarin?
Oh God, no.
Wait, hold up. You studied all these years.
I'm proficient. It's funny because
Okay.
I studied Mandarin, but then like I never had chances to practice it. I just and my motivation for studying a language wasn't because like I was super into Asian culture or I had no Chinese friends. Like I thought the stuff that they had in writing was cool on shirts and stuff, and I got
Yeah.
sick of people being like, you don't know what to say. It could say I hate black people, and I wanted to be like, you know what? It don't say that. You know why? Because I can read it. Shut up. Like,
Yeah.
you know. So I took it for a year in high school. Then they cut the program. Shout out to Chicago Public Schools and how they do sometimes. But then I went to college, and I was just like, I was gonna pick Spanish, Swahili,
Yeah.
or Japanese. Found out how hierarchical Japanese was. Swahili, I was just like, I'm gonna actually just try to double major in Afro-American studies because they
Yeah.
got that's more closer to home. And Spanish, I could learn that from the homies. So
Yeah.
Chinese was left over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mainly use my Chinese skills to communicate with other dancers. I MC street dance events in China sometimes, but I'm nowhere near a fluent speaker. And then I ended up moving to Hong Kong, and they don't even. So when I moved here in 2015, my Mandarin was like, well, my Cantonese was like, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so I speak Mandarin somewhat proficiently, and basic Cantonese.
Nice.
And I can write and read a small degree as well.
Nice, man. I get what you're saying, because even like in 2007 and 2008, I was in Shenzhen in China for like
word.
a year, and where I was, like, not many, to get someone to speak English is like, let's say, not easy. So you have to learn the language too, for the food, for the money, for this, for that. And then when I came to Hong Kong, all that, and my Cantonese went up. All that went down. So
Bro, it's the same. Like
I could count in Mandarin, put on one, say all that, and order some food and say, I don't want this, I want that. And you ask the bus driver, are you going this way? You are the train.
But like survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the street corners got some street food, so you have to ask, what is this? What is that? And you have to remember and stuff. And then when you come here, no one is speaking it. It's a different thing.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like a lot of those, like the longest time I've ever spent in China is 3 months. I've never spent more than 3 months in China.
So you went to learn this, and then you came to Hong Kong, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, like I studied abroad for 3 months in 2005, like for for like a summer basically, like 2.5, 3 months. And this was in 2005, so fast forward 2015. Up until that point, my usage of Mandarin was a little bit less survival skills. I could still have to like navigate taxis, do stuff. I did a stint like working in China in 2015 before I moved to Hong Kong. But other than that, it's mostly like talking with dancers and trying to talk like philosophy behind movement and like our approaches to dancing, or like dance history or music. Like, so my usage in Mandarin is less business and survival based and more like cultural, which is it's so I think I have a better grasp on like survival in terms of like talking stuff with Cantonese, but I'm more fluent in Mandarin, or more proficient, because I'm not fluent, I'm proficient in Mandarin.
Okay, cool, man. So 2015 is when you finally like decided you're gonna stay in Hong Kong. That's when you came to Hong Kong, right? And
I
decided
was
to stay.
Freshly married, about to have my child, my first child, because I got two now. About to have my son. The plan was my ex-wife, but she was supposed to come to the U.S.
Oh, that was the plan.
That was the plan, but just like the job market, healthcare. We all know how notorious the U.S. healthcare system is. Between like all of that, job opportunities, immigration, it was easier. I had to jump ship and decide to come to Hong Kong. So I moved here in 2015 to start my family first.
At this time, did you like join collectives here? You were also part of that time dance crews back in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then when you came to Hong Kong, the transition from Chicago to Hong Kong, like culture shock and stuff like that, and
yes and no.
Finding out that many kung fu movies are not really what they look like.
I knew that. I mean, like, from 2005 was my first time here, but from then on, I was coming to Hong Kong at least once every year, and it's because I was part of Rhythm Attack, the breaking the dance crew here, and through my journeys, we actually brought them to the U.S. because I used to co-direct a festival with my homegirl Ella Katrina, who I mentioned, we
Yeah.
co-founded an event called Breaking the Law, and we were bringing
Breaking the law.
yeah.
But this is breaking like dancing and stuff like that.
But it also started out with another homie of mine originally, Henry Gomez, who's part of my scholarship program. We
Yeah.
did it as a way to fight against culturally prejudiced cabaret licensing laws in Madison. So basically, if bars sold liquor, they needed to buy a license to allow people to dance. So all the melanated people in Madison were like, yo, this is a racist law. It's whack. They really only enforcing it in like black and brown like clubs and
Yeah.
establishments. So we needed a way to come together to bring people to sign petitions to
Yeah.
fight against the cabaret licensing law, but also in a very, Caucasian city, university.
Yeah.
We wanted a way to have a space to bring like everybody together under the, and I knew from my own experience and, growing up in Chicago, it's very racially segregated. It's a diverse city, but we're very like, knowing how that impacted my life and being able to meet so many different people, I wanted to bring like that experience to like breaking to that. So we combined, and that's why it's called. And it's like I'm a smart mouth, so we were trying to figure out a name, and I was just like, well, we're breaking, and we're trying to stop, fight against this law. So I was just frustrated because we couldn't think of nothing dope, and I was like, breaking the law, and everybody was just like, that's it, and I was like, what? Like that's the name, y'all? Whatever, but it grew to like an 11-year festival.
Nice.
So in 2005 when I came, the homies looked out for me. Man of God, I'm a man of biblical principle.
Yeah.
I remember reading the scripture. It was like if somebody pays you kindness or with the deed of kindness, pay it back tenfold. So I was like, I got to get them to the U.S. So I told Katrina, I was like, look, I got an idea. I've been doing this event. I ain't got no budget. So we made it happen. Brought them to the U.S. They made me an honorary member of the crew. And throughout the years, every year, once or twice, coming here, that's how I actually met my ex-wife. Was at my event in the States. I had never met her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was a B girl. She was part of Hong Kong's first and all-female breaking crew, called Unique Style Crew. And so, just the years of that, bumping into her with my homies and visiting. 2011, we became a couple. So yeah, I wasn't like disillusioned like Hong Kong and like kung fu movies. I kind of knew what the deal was before I got here, and I was with my crew, so I came here. We was doing shows together. Like I got my crash course in Cantonese from my crew, like hearing them because now they like, oh, you here? We ain't got to treat you like the foreigner. So they talking Cantonese every which way, and I'm like, so I took classes and stuff too through the government here, but yeah, it was definitely like a culture shock as I got more deeply ingrained into Hong Kong, but less so with the Cantonese people, but actually more with other black folks. That was my culture shock.
To see people from Africa.
To interact with them more so, who didn't grow up in the States, you know, because I got homies who were like they Nigerian or from Cameroon or whatever else, like people I went to school with, but they were still very much either like first generation like African in the U.S. or continental African in the U.S. or they had one black stateside parent and they had a parent also from Africa. And I wasn't used to dealing with folks straight up from the continent, and also with just like a different cultural gauge. Even with the folks who was like, I remember this one cat Royston in college. Like this brother was like straight up African, like African accent and all, but we had some leeway. But like here it was just like, yo, like, and y'all spell color with like the letter U, and like y'all do everything different than me. Like this is like what's happening, So
I tell you, it's the British system that when they came to Africa and they brought their own spelling. Even Kenya, Swahili, we were conquered by the British too, so we have that.
Our people, our colonizers used to be British, but they was like, not no more. Like, But I had a culture shock in a lot of different ways, and even with my crew, and be like, we hip hop, we all in this together. Then I realized like, oh, y'all was super hip hopped out in the States, but I'm on y'all home turf. Y'all are very Cantonese. Like this is not what I expected, So it was a culture shock all around for me, even though I was in environments and spaces that were like familiar settings, but it was still different. It was weird, bro. It was like not completely out there, but not completely comfortable.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It is. Even me, for the first time when I came here, many things were like, because from Africa you come here, the things we're used to see about the Chinese is quite different from what you come here and expect. So I understand, man. At this time when you're here, 2015, did you start any collectives? Because I know Afro Night, you started it in like 2020.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was during the pandemic time.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, it was, I think it was. Was it during the pandemic or right before? I think it was during. Yeah, because we were like
Yeah.
off and on. But before that, like, no collectives. I was already part of like my crew Rhythm
Okay.
Attack, so I was like
Yeah.
setting that. But that started to fall by the wayside. But by that time, like, you know, I'm a father. 2018, I had my daughter, and I
Yeah.
like none of that. I started to care about stuff less and less, and even DJ wise, I had fun and I appreciated it. But I was also getting paid real good, like, so I was just like, hey, like, I'm gonna do this, yeah, you know. And I had my parental duties. I was also dancing, so I wasn't like out looking for DJs to hang out and stuff with. Like, I
Yeah.
knew people
Priorities.
already. I had my community, so I was very comfortable in that sense.
Yeah.
So I wasn't part of any collectives. And Afro Night started more so. I started it with seeing like the stuff that, you know, going to Rahyym Teams when DJ Noel was spinning.
Caribbean music.
Yeah,
and
you know,
stuff
and
like
just
that.
seeing.
Shout out to DJ Noel.
Yeah, black, but him seeing what he was doing, and like, you know, before I would DJ, I would go and dance to that music or whatever. Then I would run
Yeah.
over to my gig. You know, and the dancer in me is like, at least this is something soulful. It's gonna be good. Like, I know I'm
Yeah.
gonna have fun. So I would go hear Noel spin and just seeing other. That's why I would meet all the other black folks a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And then knowing Minu and having met him, because I used to be the resident DJ. I was the first DJ to open up Ozu, the
Okay.
Ozu bar that, you know, is gone now. But I met Minu there, DJ Minu for real,
Yeah.
and just seeing how he would dance and vibe and party and
Yeah,
things. And knowing that over the years he was doing events and stuff, I was just like, okay, I got motivated by that. Let me get Minu, and then Anisha, she's a dancer.
Dancer, yeah.
Here, I knew a bit about them, but I never got to like interact with them. But
Okay.
I knew the struggles that African descendant folks was having, you know, either from the continent or from Europe, from wherever, just to hear quality music, and in spaces where, you know, you had like a Rummintings or whatever, but then once the clientele get built up, they pull a bait and switch, and, you know, they pressure DJs or whatever to play like cater to the crowd, and then after a while
Sure.
you got like more Caucasian or whatever other groups, and then they sway the music, and it's no longer like a authentic space, or we can't hear that good, you know,
Yeah.
how we do. Or if we get into a space like, yeah, ooh, remix, and I'm just like, I was having so much fun until they did that. So knowing that the discrimination that a lot of our people face too, especially melanated people face in getting into clubs and,
True.
you know, places that play house music but don't welcome black people, and it was like, we made house music, like what? You know, I teamed up with them, and it was
Yeah.
like, I got this idea. What do y'all think? What do you think is missing? What are the struggles? And through conversations with specifically Minu and Anisha, I was just like, okay, I want to do this thing. So
Nice.
Afro Night wasn't a collective, was more of an event.
Okay,
with
okay,
the
okay.
mission to create a safe space, an authentic
Yeah.
space for us.
I remember when we had the meeting here, when we were going to make a collective, Tropical something.
Tropical, it was just one of the names that we threw out, but yeah,
I
yeah.
remember. But COVID again came and shut down everything, the pandemic. So I
Yeah.
remember it was hard to get things going. Clubs were closing down. It was hard to get an event going. Even at Eton, we had to have masks all the time. It was tough.
Yeah, we did it. Eating first time. Oh yeah, because I had this saying. I was like, wear a mask and wear your mask. Something like that was the motto for the event. I forgot about that.
I remember you were the MC at that event. I like wave your masks in the air. No, Shake your
Some-
masks.
Wear your mask while you shake your,
Yeah. we were there, and then the thing is that they didn't want people to dance. I remember when you started dancing, they tell you, "Hey, wear your mask or you sit down. Have a drink." That's when.
And that's when I was just like, but that's where that smart mouth come into play. Like
I remember that. Then after that, everything again closed down.
everything closed
The
down.
start in the 2020
Then-
December. I had just come from Kenya, and then
Okay.
things again closed down. Then they opened up. I don't know, a few months later. Then it
We
was
had
up
to
and
be
down.
we had to be very careful because we did the second one. My fault at Central.
Yeah.
Actually,
Mm.
which was tough, man, because I went and me and somebody I actually work with, her name was Moon Johnson.
Yeah. Shout out to Moon.
Yeah, she was with me a lot of the times too. She knew the work I was putting. I was going into venues, talking with people, trying to set stuff up. And when you're like, yeah, basically, what they heard was like, yeah, I want to do a super black party in Hong Kong at your establishment, and people would just be like, what? In the middle of COVID too, where you have to be careful because
Yeah.
narratives can get thrown around. It's just like, yeah, I'm not trying to have all the black people in Hong Kong be blamed, the black wave of COVID. I was like, I'm not trying to do that. We gotta be careful. So
That's
yeah, it was difficult, but we managed to do 2 installments of Afro Night, the True Vibes with True School,
True,
and Afro
yeah.
Vibe combination joint, and Afro Noir as well, which is like the pajama
Yeah. I
party
remember that.
lingerie type joint. So managed to do 4 things.
Yeah, man.
During like up and down during the pandemic, all while safeguarding people's physical health and the African diasporic community in Hong Kong for being
Yeah, man.
blamed for COVID.
It was tough because I remember there's some clubs you had to take a test outside the club and show them the test, like, okay,
Write the name, date,
everything, show them, and then they're like, okay, with your mask on, go inside. Oh man, it was tough.
It's tough.
So all this time during the pandemic, you were still breaking too, like
Barely.
here and there.
Yeah, barely, man. Like if I would dance or break, I was just at the crib with my kids, and I would do it to have fun and stay in shape,
Yeah.
but also to bond with them. And part of that too is like with every type of work I had was shut down. I taught English. I taught English tutoring, play groups. I DJ'd, I MC'd dance and sports fitness events. I was an MC for Spartan Race for multiple years and other
Yeah.
stuff. And there was one other thing I did, and dancing. But all of that,
Boom.
between judging, traveling to China, competing, everything shut down. So I was just at the crib, stuck. And I would just do it to mess around. But also, with the mother, my ex-wife, mother of my children, being Cantonese, I'm also like the only cultural pipeline that my shorties have to that side, so of their cultural heritage. So I was always just like making sure at least like put on some music, do whatever, 2-step with them, have fun, physical action. So I would just do it at the crib, but I wasn't dancing during the pandemic. So
Yeah, man. I used to watch those videos. They were really cool. Like, they inspired me, knowing that, wow, you were so free with them in the morning, and then you just start just breaking, and they would laugh at you, and you would laugh at them, and they try to do some funny stuff. And my son does the same. So it's cool.
It's
cool, man.
exploration, man. And I learned a
Yeah.
lot. Like, I fancy myself as an intelligent person, and a
Why
lot of
not?
that, a lot of that has to do though with dance and how I connect things mentally. And I still have a childlike essence, I think, in terms of how I try to see the world and navigate and
Yeah.
be process oriented and not necessarily results focused with my art or relationships with people or a lot of different things. So like, yeah, dance is like super important to me with that, and that's how I want to raise my kids, with more freedom. I don't want to, you can't do that, get down from there. But why? Because I say it's like, tell me the
Military
thing.
type of thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you go up there, be careful,
Be careful.
because there's no reason for you not to be up there aside from the fact that either I'm uncomfortable with it or you're not supposed to stand on furniture. But
If you
Maybe
fall
you
down
can
and break
f-
your arm, you learn from it.
I told you. You know, but I'm there like, yeah, go on ahead, see what happened. But then I'm just like inside, I'm like, Daddy gonna be there to catch you, but they gotta.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Wow. Man. So now that your kids are growing up and there's so much things evolving, especially in the DJ industry, there's the technology that is now being put in DJing is so making it look so easy. You have now like softwares that can just beat match for you and as a DJ. So what? And there's the AI. I don't know if you've seen this reel about a robot DJ trying to DJ and takes one lever up and comes down.
Oh,
And yeah, it was.
okay.
There was that this robot. Like, it's been on the rounds. So, what's your thought about that? Do you think it's gonna take over like the metaverse? Have you seen people wearing those like?
Yeah,
And then you just see their arms and they're DJing and.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts about that?
I don't care. Like how you describe the robot, there's DJs who are live and well, they DJ like that too. Like, you know, like there's people like even like their approach is robotic, it's not soulful. Like
Yeah.
I mean, technology is gonna like I'm fortunate enough to have started with vinyl.
Yeah.
And
true.
also, you know, I'll be 39. Dang, I'll be 39 in 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Happy
So,
birthday in advance.
Thank you.
Because I know you'll be around.
Yeah, my birthday's next Saturday.
Yeah, but you won't be around.
Yeah, I won't be around. Yeah, but I grew up like in that perfect middle generation. Like I
Yeah.
grew up young enough to know what an 8-track looked like because my parents had it. It's an old thing, but then I grew up with V8 cassette tapes, records, CDs, Betamax, VHS tapes, Laserdisc, CNOs. You know, I was in the fifth grade when the internet came out. Like, I remember there being no internet. Then there was internet, and that was 56K dial-up. You know, like
I remember
the evolution of technology. And so by the time I got into DJ, I had exposure to vinyl records and stuff like that, and I was used to carrying things. But then Serato was out, and so I knew how to. With that knowledge and being familiar, okay, well, I'm DJing and I don't have to flip and pick every record, but I'm still using wax, you know.
Yeah.
And so it evolved. So you can. Technology is gonna be there. That's this before. Was it Flash? Before Flash?
Yeah, it
Grandmaster
was
Flash?
just they just had the linear.
Yeah, before
He figured out
the
like,
crossfader
and all that.
You know, that didn't exist before. You know, that's why, like, if you hear, like, a Cool Herc, the DJs play differently. Like, it's not as seamless or whatever. Like, yeah, technology helps. I think it's fine. And it makes it more accessible. Like, I love the fact that, wait, you're going to pay me my same DJ rate? And all I got to do is carry this little plastic thing in a briefcase, show up. I ain't got to bring records and dog, and especially in Hong Kong and walk up apartments and stuff.
Oh, yeah, man.
Like, technology is great. You're gonna have people who exploit it to take the cheap route out. Some people that'll be their intro to it. Do wonderful things with it. There's people somebody's gonna figure out how you could mix songs with your taste buds in 20 years. Like, it's gonna go next level weird. So you have everything in between. So the technology is great. It could be used. It could be abused. It could be a tool. Like, they don't faze me, like, yeah.
Do you think you're going to join the metaverse and stuff like that, or straight true to your roots?
I mean,
what would you love your kids to use in the future? Would you encourage them to use like the metaverse and stuff like that?
Their brains. You got plenty of stupid people with good technology, man. So it's just like,
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the ultimate technology, and it's like, staying true to the roots, like the creativity of it, the knowing the tradition and the history of the music, the artist you're listening to, where it comes from. Like, that's the stuff that I want them to be tapped into. So it don't matter what technology you're using in terms of true to the roots. Is just like, true to the roots is, I got my first or my second my official turntables that I still got to this day using financial aid money from college because I had a scholarship, so I
Yeah.
had extra loot. You know,
Yeah.
like hustle, figure out how to make it work. That's like the foundation, not oh it's gotta be vinyl and it's gotta be crispy and you know the DJ and the whatever, man. Like,
Yeah, man, that's true. No, because even now on the phone, they've got the DJ software on the phone, and someone can just hook up a phone and DJ with it.
bro, a phone and save my life at some gigs.
Yeah,
Cause
yeah, true.
record skip or whatever or
Things happen.
something acting crazy. Let me plug in the aux cord and me playing song reboot.
True.
Everything is a tool and a resource. USBs, like
Yeah, man.
you know, or dang, my Serato ain't working, but I put on a vinyl record for a song or two and
While
do
you figure
whatever.
out.
You
True.
know, only problem is when the mixer be tweaking.
Yeah,
That's the scariest part. But all the other stuff, you can navigate around it. So it's just
nice.
yeah, man.
So I saw recently you've been in like like the street dances and stuff like that. Like, were you? Have you been judging lately? Have you been
Yeah.
judging?
Yeah, I moved back to Chicago
Yeah.
officially moved back to the U.S. I should say in January this year. But I went back like July last year,
I
and like 2
remember.
weeks into like my visit, because I was supposed to stay home for like 3 months. 2 weeks into my visit, I was just like, oh my God, I need to move back. Like I have to move back, like literally for my mental well-being, which you know I talk about that on my IG and stuff, just like mental
Yeah.
health.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Also economically, culturally, just everything is just like, yo, like I can't do it in Hong Kong no more. Like it's not it for me right now. I gotta chuck the deuces. So, moved back there in January, and since then, between like, you know, the U.S. being more open in terms of COVID, and they was wild at first, but you know. We were watching here. I was watching here, like, yo, they bugging back home. Like, this is reckless. Like, you know.
All over the world, it was like that.
Yeah, but we were here, like,
Yeah, and we were here also with masks and everything, and
yeah,
no
that was a
visiting.
whole. I don't want to violate no laws or nothing, so let's skip over my opinions.
Yeah.
but by the time when I got back to Chicago, you know, like here in Hong Kong, I also am considered an elder in the dance community.
Yeah,
but just
I
like
know.
culturally, I'm still on the periphery because I'm not like a straight up local on top. You know, not growing up in Hong Kong, but I'm also not part of the ethnic majority. So I'm still not there, and also language fluency and other things like.
Yeah.
It's like there's always like small barriers for me to be like fully integrated, I think, with the dance community here, and my longevity isn't as much as it is like in Chicago, where you know I went home, and not just Chicago. Like Hong Kong is one city, but I go back to the States, it's like
Boom,
Chicago, Madison, Milwaukee, Boston. Like I've been all over the States, like doing mad gigs. I've been judging, I've been battling, I've been DJing, I've been MCing. Like been able to do all of that stuff, and it's because also, you know, my foundation, and I've done a lot more in a bigger place than I
Yeah.
have, you know, just only in Hong Kong. So
That's great, man. But
I'm still
I,
dancing, and you know,
I have to say you've earned your stripes because one, you're a good dancer, man.
thank you.
I remember the first times when we met, and I told you I also used to break when I was a
Yeah.
kid, and I did all that in school, in high school, as a way like we had bullying in high school, and for me, not to be bullied, I used to dance and throw some hip hop verses and stuff like that. So it saved my life. Even in primary school, like the movie that I watched that made me like inspired me was the breakdance movie.
Which one? Breaking?
Breaking one, the guy Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, Boogaloo Shrimp.
With,
He did
with the broom and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
I was just like, I wanna do this.
Yeah.
Then I had a friend of mine who like broke his neck, and then he was in a cast and stuff like that. So I couldn't do that head spin, but I could do the other stuff. And as I grew up, and then there was the MC Hammer, and you could do that hammer thing, and then there
Word.
was you know, many different styles came up, and then I loved DJing, and that was it. Though I still do teach my son how to breakdance. He loves dancing, like
Good.
everything. He put for him music, and he'll just be like, I know that song. I know that. He's cool. He's cool. So
Yeah.
man, so I want to ask you, like, you're gonna do this later on in life. I know you do workshops of teaching dances. Do you teach DJing? You have taught to several people.
Yeah,
I also know.
I've taught. Just living between
Here
two
and
countries
there.
now, and then
Yeah.
the pandemic and stuff. So I actually owe somebody a DJ lesson. I don't want to say who it is, but bro, if you watching this, I'm gonna figure it out. I got you.
They
I know
can
I
come
owe
to
you.
me. I can.
I was
teach them.
actually figuring I was gonna recommend them to you.
Yeah. No worries.
It's somebody.
man.
I don't want to ruin the surprise. That's why
No
it's supposed to be a
worries.
surprise to somebody. But
You
already,
let me.
I was actually gonna talk to you about that at the end.
Aight,
So
aight, no
that's how I
worries.
was gonna get them, because I was gonna recommend them to you.
Cool, man. No worries.
But yeah, I plan to do this until I'm gone. Like gone. You know what I mean? And to whatever capacity that may be, maybe I won't. For the next 2 years, I plan to. For like the past 5 years, I've barely been dancing. Like, thank God, like I put in all the work that I did, because I still got it. It's just my stamina's horrible. My knees click a lot more. My shoulder, I can't do certain moves. But for the next, from 39 to 40, I want these to be my next 2 years where I really focus heavily on dance, so doing physical therapy, and competitively, like really, because I have about like 60 different dance awards between like first and second place, some highlight stuff. But I ain't never really like trained for competitions and done stuff, but I want to get out there like one good time and do it. So the next 2 years I'll be hitting it like hard, like
Man.
on my road to 40 basically.
Yeah.
So and then DJing, I mean, that's always gonna be there. So even I came back to Hong Kong, I had a lot of artistic trauma dealing with this place, and so when I came back here, I was just like, I'm not trying to DJ, I'm not trying to work, I'm not trying to do nothing. I'm trying to spend time with my kids, focus on them, and do some other artwork that I've been focusing on in terms of visual arts, calligraphy, other stuff like that. Just focusing on
3D.
that. Yeah, 3D printing, all
Yeah,
like
man.
and mixed media, doing all of that.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
but you
That's
get in those
it.
spaces, you get the itch, you start talking to people. I've done a few gigs, and
Yeah.
so I'm always, when I get my crib, I have my decks, have my record collection. Like I got homies back home who are DJs. I've been DJing. Like I'm always do this because it's a cultural practice. It's an art
Nice.
form for me, and it's something that I do out of enjoyment. And then honestly, if I do nothing else and I can't find work or whatever, it's a vocation. I can make money doing it. Like
That's it.
and I've had most success
Doing it.
doing it. Like, oh, you're gonna use your Chinese degree for business and manufacturing and shipments, you cargo, you do that? Like, nah, I MC breaking battles in China. I teach dance classes. That's how I use my
Nice.
Chinese. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm always do this, whatever form, shape, or capacity. Even if it's me two-stepping at a club or that one song come on.
Boom. You're in it. So, last thing. As a judge, if there are any dancers who are watching out there, as a judge, what is it you look out for in the dancers? Like, what advice will you give a dancer? Where are the strengths? Is it your legs? Is it your upper body? What do you need? Flow movements, upper movements?
But man, that's so tough because there's so many different dance forms
Yeah.
out there, and even with breaking, we fuse and utilize so many different aspects of movement from everything. So I know stuff from like yoga, like taekwondo, different. I use everything, but I would say in terms of judging, the one thing is just like the same technology I want my kids to use, all dancers should use, which is
Your brain.
try to
That's
be
it.
creative. Think of new
Creative.
ways to do things. Be original. Draw inspiration. Try to twist it. Be, really treat it like an art form. And pour who you are into it, or not pour who you are into, but certain parts. Some people do this for different reasons. Some people do it to, a lot of breaking. Some dudes used to do it to try to get girls. Like, if you're not like a toxic jerk, I guess more power to you. Some people, maybe they're like, like they're very kind in real life, but when I like when I battle them and I'm like, this dude is intense. Or like this person, like they're kind of mean, but then you talk to them and they're like, so, and I'm the same way. Like I'm not a very serious person. I'm not serious at all.
I know.
But I'm intense. I can be intense. So I'm not aggressive. I can be intense. I can be serious, but I'm not like a stickler,
Yeah,
like.
yeah, true.
So I've been able to navigate my own life in a lot of ways that are healthy and beautiful through dance. And I want people who are dancers to think more than just the dance itself. It's just like, what do you want from this? And it can change, you know. So even just it shows when you're dancing. Like, I've won battles I should not have won. Like, I done beat people where I'm like,
really?
the first breaking battle I won was it was right when I came, a few months after I came back from China.
Yeah.
In Chicago, and it was an event called Battle Hustle, and it's this dude named Waka in Chicago, legendary b-boy across the world. This dude, like, intense. Like, if you, I saw him almost fight somebody because of how they danced. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and this is a dude who, me watching him when I first stepped in the scene, I used to throw like my signature trademark moves in his warm-up circle just to be able to like be in that space with him, you know. So I'm in the finals across from this dude, battling him. This is like, okay, I've done one-on-one events before, but I barely made it like this far before.
Yeah.
And I won. And it was to the point I was just like, I went to the judges. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna ask them why, because I'm also cerebral about it. I was like, if they picked like me for some stupid reason, I'm giving him the win, because why did they think I won? I think I might know, but I want to hear from them. Let me ask them. And you know, people would usually be like, why did I lose? But I was like, no, why did you pick me to win? And they gave me very objective reasons, and I was just like, I didn't see that. That makes sense. Okay, I'm satisfied with that.
Okay.
Oh my God, I won. You know, but I didn't have the most dynamic moves or whatever, but it was just who I was in the dance, and that reflected through it. So it's just like, learn the moves, but learn how to put yourself in it. Like, I know it's a long explanation, but when you talk about dance, it's like, it's philosophy, it's experience, it's history, it's movement. It's, just, be yourself and think of it as bigger in the dance. But train that body, though. Train that body. Incorporate everything you can and know when and how to utilize it. Like, that's a whole nother workshop, dog. That's a whole workshop, Joe. Like,
I know, man. Yo, so please give like your social media handles. It's
yes.
King GNS.
Yeah, it's a DJ King GNS. It's an acronym for Genius Never Sleeps, but DJ
Genius Never Sleeps.
Yeah, because I would be up late nights practicing DJing, which is why I would miss college classes in the morning. At DJ King GNS, DJ KING GNS, and dance wise, my nickname is Man of God, so it's MOG Dance, the letter M, the letter O, the letter G, Dance, all together, no spaces in either one of those.
That's IG, Facebook.
IG should be for Facebook as well. I think Facebook is MOG.dance, but type in Man of God. I'm on YouTube on both. DJ King Genius, MOGdance on all social media platforms. If you don't know, Google it, or if you're in China, Bing it, whatever. I don't know, wherever you are. But yeah,
man. So thanks so much for coming through, man.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm glad we made this work out.
Man, I enjoyed your stories. I really wish you so much good luck in your, you know, what's coming to you.
Thank you.
I know it's a big thing, and we just talked about it even before we started this, and I also told you I'll be in the same situation soon, so I understand leaving Hong Kong, and it could be something that's really bittersweet memories, because you've left here a crew, you have friends here, you have family here.
Yeah, my shorties are here, so this is always home, you know. But
I know. So we hope you can come back maybe in a few months to visit us again. And if you come, I hope you can. If I'm still here, we can do something. Have another podcast.
Yeah, we gotta spend together, man.
If not, wherever you are, probably we'll meet again. I know it's funny, but people do meet, and I know we will meet.
We will
meet, mate. So
appreciate you, bro.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I enjoyed your stories. You inspire me, and I love your kids. The way they follow you as the dad. I've watched you go places with them. They have fun with you, and that's awesome.
They're my pride and joy, man.
Yeah, man. Any dad out there who has kids who love them, it's really appreciating. It's really nice to see your kids smile.
Thank you, man.
PamoJah.
Respect, man. Thank you.
And PamoJah is Swahili, so you'd have studied Swahili. We'll be talking Swahili.
Oh, okay. I mean, I know from Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa means the fast.
Yeah. Kwanzaa,
Yeah.
and then we have all the principles, you know, Umoja,
Umoja is
PamoJah.
means together, and
Oh,
Umoja is
it's
one.
unity.
So PamoJah is like
There
together.
we go. See? There we go. See, you're bringing me back home.
Aye, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, man. Thanks
All
to
right.
thank you.